Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining this weekly site setup webinar. My name is Jorn. I'm one of the co-founders of WordApp, and I've been running this webinar for the last 6, 7 weeks, I think. Usually we run it on Monday, and we're mostly talking about different sites that we're setting up. And now I want to move it to the Tuesday because I have a bit more time then. And also I want to change the setup of this webinar a little bit. So you don't have to join this webinar live every week. Obviously, we're recording this webinar and we're putting it up on YouTube, so you can check it there. It is important though, if you're a batch 4 WordApper, that you check these webinars and see what is going on. I try to keep them short, just so that we pack the information in there that you need to know. But WordPress is changing a lot every month, 2 months. Our processes are obviously changing as well, so you have to keep up with that as a batch 4 user. Otherwise, you're going to have issues with that later on. So the agenda for this webinar and for the webinars moving forward is what is new this week. After that, we look a bit at the production and site review. That's the important thing if you're watching the recording. So make sure that you skip to that if you just want to see what is going on with the sites. We assign help if anyone needs it with their websites. And after that, we do a bit of a Q&A where if you have any questions, you can ask them. The questions can be about this webinar, can be also technical questions about the site setup, can be questions about the content ordering, whatever you need there. I'm your guy. So please, if you have any questions, this is the webinar to join so that we can discuss it together. Either we discuss it live in the webinar if it's something that we can discuss, or if it takes a bit longer, we can assign you someone to help you just so that you get an answer to your question, actually understand what is going on. So this week we have a lot of new stuff. I don't think every week is going to be like this, but we have quite a few things that I want to go through. So starting with WordPress 5.6, which is a new core update. It brings a couple of new things that are important for us doing the setup. One, it is auto update to WordPress core. So we of course already saw it in the theme and in the plugin settings, but now you can also automatically update the core version of WordPress without your host doing it. So obviously we are doing that on all of the sites that we have. So also on all of the old sites that you're doing maintenance for, make sure that you update the settings so that they're automatically updated on core versions. There's also a new theme, 2021. So from now on, obviously, the theme is automatically installed when you update. Make sure that you remove the 2020 theme and that you use the 2021 as the backup theme there. So again, also site maintenance, make sure that you update these things so that all the sites are up to date with that. Big thing, of course, for WordPress 5.6 is that it's getting ready for PHP 8. And this brings us a bit to when to update. So any of these big updates in WordPress, we want to be very, very careful that the sites that we're updating, that everything continues working there. So if you're doing new setups for GN domains or shopping sites or things like that, it is not a problem whatsoever to do an update. If you have existing websites or money sites that we run, some of our casino sites or hair transplant sites or dental sites and things like that, those you cannot update without actually testing that everything works there and that you have a rollback function. So on new sites, no problem, update it. For the old ones, make sure that you check with your country manager if you are ready to update there or not. So for now, all of our shopping sites, all of our JN sites can be updated. Our shopping sites have not been tested yet, so those cannot be updated yet. Our last sites can all be updated. There's no problems there. And our money sites for hair, dentist, and casino should not be updated yet. We are still looking at everything and testing that everything is good there before we update those. So that is something to keep in mind here with WordPress 5.6. Then a couple of notes about earning batch 4 and also some new batches that we're introducing. So the goal of people doing batch 4 and earning batch 4 is that they learn by themselves how to upload tasks in WordApp and how to set up sites completely by yourself. So you don't need anyone else helping you. If you get a site assigned, you know exactly what to do, how to produce the content in WordUp and get the site up and ready. This doesn't include creating new templates. So a country manager or a lead WordApper will always create the templates for you if there's any new templates that need to be made. But you should be able to manage an order sheet and upload tasks and get them up on the site by yourself. So for batch 4, before you can start there, you need to, of course, complete batch 1, 2, and 3. You need to be an active writer. So we want to see that you're actually doing some stuff in the app. If you're not active, you're not going to be able to start doing your batch 4. You need to sign up for the reward points. The link is in our blog for that. And you will get assigned a site and someone to help you with the first setup. For the first setup, you always do 50-50 in the setup fee. You have 1 week to join, and after that, you can join this webinar where we will always review the new batch for people's sites. So that's one of the things that I will always review live, unless we start doing more than 10 sites a week. I mean, then it becomes a bit much maybe, but we will look at the sites here, and here you get feedback on them. So if you're interested in doing your batch 4, please sign up for the reward points, and within a week, we will make sure that you get a site assigned. Sometimes it takes a bit longer, but usually within 1 week it is fine. Um, we're introducing some new batches as well. So batch 4 is the WordPress site setup batch, but it's actually divided in 3 sub batches. One of that is the GN sites. I mean, that's what most people are doing now for their site setup. But there are also shopping sites and LAS or leads as a service websites that we're setting up. If you haven't done so already, talk to your country manager about these new types of sites. Shopping sites is the one where we can do most of because they are for us the most beneficial to build. So shopping sites, once you know how to build those, you have a lot more opportunity to build sites. Last is definitely the second type of sites that we want to build most of. And the third one, very bottom, is the end sites. So if you want to build websites, you need to start looking at shopping sites and last sites if you want to build a lot of them. Otherwise, we cannot guarantee that you will always have sites. Um, then some things that we talked about last week a bit already, and it's about keeping your batch 4. So for all the batches, we require you to be active. For batch 4, so for the WordPress sites, it means that you need to complete 3 sites a quarter. Basically means 1 a month. But obviously, if you don't want to if you want to take some time off in between, that's fine. You can pre-produce the sites so that you still have 3 sites a quarter. It is your responsibility to get a site from an elite WordApp or a country manager, and make sure that you keep in mind it can take up to 3 weeks to get a site, and we cannot guarantee that there's always the end sites available. So if you don't start to learn how to build shopping sites and last sites, we cannot always guarantee that you have a site there available for you. Um, if you don't complete 3 sites in a quarter, you lose your badge, which means that you have to retake the exam and you have to earn the reward points for that and or get invited to take the badge exam again. The reason for that is, as I said, WordPress is changing fast. Our processes are changing fast. So we cannot always keep up with that if you're not building sites regularly. So 1 site a month is really not very much. If you don't want to do that, then I don't think you're going to miss your batch 4 either. So that's about that. Obviously, if you want to do more than 1 site a month, it is totally possible. But we need to have a call then with the country manager and can either be with only the country manager or I can be included in that as well, where we agree on a roadmap for the next 3 months and document what it is that you're going to do then in those 3 months. That can be building 1 site a week, can be 2 a week, can be more, but we want to have a phone call about that to see that we're on the same track there. All the sites that we're building, it's obviously we need to get domains for it, we need to get hosting, we need to get orders for it. So we cannot really scale up if we don't have some kind of commitment from your side there on how much you want to do. And it also takes some planning and investment, of course, from our end to get the sites available. Before we get a site and it's ready to start setting it up, it usually takes 2 to 4 weeks before that is all ready. So we need to really work in advance there and know what we can do in advance if we want everyone to have enough work. So if you're interested in earning a regular income and you want to do more than one site a month, even if you just want to do one site a month, I would really suggest that you book a call with me and your country manager. Um, you can send me an email, or you can just in the webinar here write in the chat that you want to do something, and then I'll make sure that I set it up with you, so that we can give you a bit more regular work. And as I said, as batch 4, the idea is that if we give you a website, you're self-sufficient. So you should be able to work in your own speed there and not dependent on us. I mean, helping you out with anything. Um, Obviously, to earn a regular income, it is important that you complete all your batch 4 batches, so shopping site and last site as well. Even if you haven't completed them yet, I would still like to have a phone call just so that we get things rolling. But as I said, I cannot guarantee sites if you don't know how to build all types of sites in Word. A lot of new stuff, as I said. Are there any questions so far? You can either unmute yourself or you can use the chat, then I can go through them before we move on with the rest of the webinar and the things that we would normally discuss here. I'll just allow a couple more of you guys to talk in case you have questions. So you can just unmute yourself if you have questions or use the chat. Nobody? Everything clear? Sana, you always have questions.
How do we get the shopping sites pads started? Will we make a video or what we do for that?
I definitely think a video is a good idea. So what we discussed in the country manager meeting this morning, I think take one of the weekly webinars and use it to record a video there. Yes, I think that is always a good idea to do. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyone else, anything? All right, then I'm moving on. Let's see. So overview, production, and site review. So obviously this week we produced a couple of sites, not very many. I think we did like 5 sites this week, which is really not that much. Since we're changing the whole setup of this webinar, I will go through a couple of the sites, but not really the production aspect of it. I just want to highlight a couple of things again, just so that we have it in the recording, that it's available for all of you guys. Your site is your responsibility. And if there's any mistakes on your site, it just means that we give you 1 more month to review and fix all your work, because we will postpone your entire offline payment with a month. So if there's any mistakes on your site, it means that all your offline payments will be postponed by a month. I hope that is clear. If not, I mean, please ask me. But this includes the payment sheets. I mean, the offline payment sheets. It includes, I mean, the whole thing there, just so that you do it correctly. So make sure you watch these webinars as well. I'm not always reviewing all the websites that we do in a week, but if I point out something in one website, it means that obviously it goes to all the websites. So then if it's on your site as well, you need to fix it before the month is over. We're reviewing all the sites. We're not doing it, I mean, maybe the same week, maybe the same month, maybe even the same quarter. But if we find mistakes there, you have to go back through all of your sites and make sure that you fix them. So if you've been working for 6 months, I will start digging and going through all of the sites you've been doing for the 6 months to find more mistakes there if I find anything. It's not a fun position to be in. So if you're doing the content, you're responsible for the text and the metas. That means obviously the template, that the content is actually interesting and good written. The language itself, no spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes, the keywords, the actual meta title and description, that they're good. So you're responsible for all of that, and it needs to be correct. If you're doing the setup of a site, you're responsible for the complete setup. That means the aesthetics and the technical setup. So page speed, I mean, the way links work and things like that is all on you. And as a country manager, you're responsible for the ordering, making sure sites are done by the deadline, and training of people. So that means the country manager, and that's someone who gets paid €20 for every site to manage the process, is not responsible for the setup or the content. That's someone else. But they help us with checking the sites, and if they find issues with it, it will come back to you. So that means that your payment will be postponed for a month, which I don't think anyone really wants. So make sure you double check your sites and you do stuff correctly there. They're not country manager not going to sign off on every site. I mean, they're looking for issues just as we. But then, I mean, you saying that the site is done means it's done. If there's mistakes after that, you have a problem. I have a couple of sites that I wanted to look at. Let's see if I can close this here. Um, this is one of the Japanese sites we did this week, which I think looks really, really good. I think it's clearly it's about Mr. Bean, so that is good. One of the things I noticed here is the link. If I click this link, it doesn't go anywhere. Now, it could be that this is blocked for me, but I don't think so because it doesn't seem to be really a URL. When you're finishing sites, please make sure you check all the links. So this can just not happen. If clients see this, then there will be an issue. Same here with this, like scroll up little icon here. It's in the same color, only when I hover over it showing. I mean, that's an issue, of course. So these are the kind of things that you really need to check. It cannot happen, these things. Here, I see this link here. If you see where this link is pointing, it's going to // you cannot see it here. And there's something wrong with this link here. This is on the content person. So the order was not placed correctly in the order sheet. That is on the content person to do. So please make sure that you double check your links and your substitutes so that those are all done correctly. Also here on the front page, I see some stuff with colors. So obviously this is a reproduction site. I don't know where this green is coming from, but it looks a bit out of place with all of the bluish colors everywhere else. And also the page template here, it's set to full width, which obviously doesn't work. It should be a box page this, then the content will look a whole lot better than it does now. Next one, this site, Beauty Matters, site that had quite a few problems. If I click here, the links, they're opening in a new tab, which is okay if it's an external link, but obviously this is an internal link. So internal link should never open in a new tab unless there is a very special reason for it. For example, you want to keep people on a page for conversion or something like that. But normal internal links should never open in a new tab. They should always open in the same window. So that needs to be fixed, obviously. So those are some of the things I wanted to go through today. So this site review every week, it is obviously if I see problems, I point them out and I will talk about them. But the site review should be way, way more about you guys bringing up issues that you want to discuss. How do I make this better? How do I make that better? Just so that we discuss those things and so that it's not me trying to find mistakes on your site because that's not what I'm for. That's not my job. That's not what I want to do, obviously. Assigning help, this is something that I am for. So what I do want to do in this webinar is if you need any help with your site and I cannot help you in this webinar, and I know a thing or two about WordPress, that I assign you someone to help you with your site. So obviously that person is not going to do things for free. So you will be sharing your setup fee with that person. Usually 50-50 works there. I mean, just so that, I mean, they're not working completely for free. But if it is something where you need a lot of help, I mean, it's up to you guys how you want to divide it. But I know that some people, they gave the full payment to someone helping them with the setup, just so that they can see someone else setting up a site and see how they do it so that they can learn from it. My question now, does anyone need any help with sites or things this week? If you do, please use the chat and just write it there, or you can write us on the Word website as well. Then I will pick it up from there after the webinar. But if you need any help, I mean, please reach out here in the webinar or reach out to your country managers, to Elaine, to Sana, or to Claire, just so that you ask them and they or me can help you then assign someone so that you don't have to do everything yourself and you can learn from that person. That's it for today. Do you guys have anything that you want me to go through, either related to this webinar or setup of the sites in general, order sheets, word app, I mean, ordering content for the WordPress sites, keyword research, I mean, whatever. I mean, do you guys have any questions you want me to go through? If so, please unmute yourself or use the chat, then I can go through them. Does anyone want? Yes. Hi, Len.
Can you hear me? Yeah. I have a question about the shopping site and the colors of to change the colors of the buttons or the sale, what you call them, the banners and stuff like that in the what's it called, the Max, the theme that we're using. I'm not. I mean, and if it's in WooCommerce itself or it's in the theme editor that I have to change.
So I don't think we've set that up in the theme editor because the site is a bit from before that. Yeah. So, but it is a good question. I can just log into one of the sites and just show you what you can do there.
Thank you.
Let's see. Let's see if I can load this site. So this is in Swedish, obviously, which is fun. So you see for this button here, I guess this is the button, the color is set to yellow, which means that you have to change the colors individually here for all of the things that you want to change. You can use this global color set as well. So if I put this global color set and I can create new colors in the global theme settings, if I select a yellow there, for example, then I can use the global colors to change all the buttons. So what needs to happen for this Yamato site, for example, since we're reusing this one quite a bit, for the templates here, someone needs to put in, instead of the individual colors, put in the global colors for all of the buttons and the backgrounds and things like that, so that it becomes way easier to change the background on all of them at once, instead of having to do them all individually.
Will that also change if you go down on the newest product and sorry, if you go down on the newest product and the shop now or whatever it's called, the Beställ Nu, this one is also by the universal. It's the same thing. Or
so these ones are all set to an individual color now. If you set them to a global color, so for example this one, so if I would set this to a global color blue, now if I change this global color blue, then all of it will change everywhere where I have this global color blue. But I didn't, I mean, it's not set up like that now. So that is the issue.
Okay, but it's all okay, sorry, that was my.
So someone needs to change them to the global colors. Then it becomes way easier if you download the template and put it on a new site to change the colors there. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Good. Anyone else, any questions? Is there anyone who wants to book a call with me and or one of the country managers to discuss some kind of roadmap for you guys for building sites? I know, Mina, you want to build a lot of sites every week. I don't know if you already discussed it with Sana and you already did a plan for that or how that is going. But if anyone wants to book a call, this is the moment, then I can reach out to you after this and set it up. No one right now. Okay, Sana, Helene, Claire, please repeat this in your webinars as well that you have today, tomorrow, just so that people start booking some calls so that we can start organizing the production of the websites a bit better. Because obviously we cannot just randomly assign sites to everyone every week. I mean, there needs to be a bit of planning going on there so that every week we know what we need to prepare and what we need to assign for the next week so that we can start working on that and that it's a bit less stressful than it is now. That's it really from my side then. Do you guys have any other questions? Okay, then I'll be closing it up for today. I'll post this video on YouTube right after the webinar. So that will be online in about an hour, I guess. If you have any questions, please join every Tuesday at 12:30 Amsterdam time, where we have this webinar and you can ask any questions you have. If you want to book a call, please reach out in the live chat on the website. And if you want to discuss your roadmap so that we can guarantee you a bit more work every week or month, then we can set up a call there and set it, get it going. That's it from me. Thanks a lot for joining and hope to see you guys again next week. Bye, everyone.